Hey everybody, hope you guys are all having a very good Monday here. Oh, Loki heard me talking, so here's Loki for you guys, if you guys can see him in a second. There he is. He wants a treat. There you go. Alright, hope you guys are all having a pretty good Monday. Definitely not the best of days here as far as the market's concerned. I think we have to talk about it a little bit here just because of what's been going on. In theory, Bitcoin should have actually had an okay day today. I think a lot of you guys understand that because the NASDAQ was up around 1.6%. SPY was up 1.17%, and the Dow Jones was up over 1% as well here. But the news of what basically happened today when we saw this move occur in the earlier mornings, dude, he's trying to eat the treats off the desk because I'm not paying attention. This guy. Oh, you can see him right here, yeah. Sneaking around isn't good. Yeah. What? That doesn't mean go steal. I'm putting the treats somewhere else where you can't get them. He's gonna be mad now. Yeah, oh, now you're slipping away. My whole table has like a few mouse pads on it. His claws get some good grip on them, let me tell you that. Hey Elijah, hey Doodle Doo, hey Jonathan, the real transporter. Hope you guys are doing well. Is the Discord link not working? It might not be working. I haven't used it in a hot minute. Let me check it out for you very fast. It might not be. Let me see. It looks like it ran out. Let me fix it for you very fast. This is something I can do that's really easy. Then we'll hop onto the news section here that's kind of driving the markets. The crypto market's down, if anything, right? Let me go back over here to my channel. Let's go over here to... There you go. Tom, AV, Greg, Alston. Edit, no limit. Oh, maybe I just always have it set to 7 days or something. Okay, copy. Let me go over here. There we go. Paste. Should be uploaded, so you have to exit the stream, get back in the stream, and after you click on the link, it should work out. There we go. Basically, what I did is I got rid of a lot of the bots in there, so now you have to do a sign-up procedure, which basically means you just have to like click a little check mark thing. But you know, I didn't want people to keep on getting those spam bots that were going crazy over Discord. Okay. Lost my train of thought because of Loki, but I wanted to make sure that Discord link was working. So you guys know earlier today, we kind of had this scary dip period in time because basically going over here to the news side of things, crypto firm Paxos to face SEC charges ordered to stop minting Binance stablecoin. This part was the big news here, the order to stop minting the Binance stablecoin. And this was very, very weird news out there. You can see Binance is down a lot more than other currencies at this point in time because Binance is getting hit by this. We'll read the article here in a second, but the thing that is so weird is they're saying that this is a security, but usually when it comes to securities, you're hoping to buy a security to make money off of it, right? Usually when it comes to stable coins, nobody's buying a stable coin because they think it's going to be going to the moon or something. They're usually just buying it in order to buy something else, right? The only stable coin that I think people would want to be buying is UST, but that's a DPEG stable coin that's no longer a stable coin if you ask anybody out there, right? So let's just kind of dig into this article a little bit and just see what happened. But I do think it's important enough to read this because this is the reason why Bitcoin went down, all the altcoins went down today. Meanwhile, the NASDAQ was doing just fine going sideways, okay, even up. It was a very weird thing to see, and you know, we should talk about this. Now, cryptocurrency firm Paxos will cease issuing new Binance USD or BUSD stablecoins under the direction of the New York State financial regulator, Binance founder Changpeng Zhao said Monday. Paxos' own stablecoin was not impacted, but the company did confirm it had been notified by the Securities and Exchange Commission of potential charges in connection with its BUSD product. A stablecoin is a cryptocurrency in which attempts to maintain a more stable price, usually by pegging its value to an underlying asset like gold, or in this case, US dollars. The move is the latest in an escalatory regulatory effort to rein in once freewheeling, so I have trouble with my W's and R's, crypto industry. Last week, the Securities and Exchange Commission settled with crypto exchange Kraken over allegations of unregistered offering and sales in connection with Kraken crypto staking platform. The New York State Department of Financial Services issued the order as a result of several unresolved issues related to Paxos' oversight of its relationship with Binance, the regulator said Monday in a consumer alert. We were informed by Paxos that they have been directed to cease minting new BUSD, Binance stablecoin, by the New York Department of Financial Services, Zhao said on Twitter, right? Now, he had a whole thread about this. I probably want to read this thread as well here. But the order, as far as I see, let's go here first. Here's the alert, basically. Basically, it said, pursuant to DFS requirements, my head is blocking it. It's too small to even read anyway. All stablecoins issued by DFC regulated entities are required to be fully backed 1-to-1 by cash or cash equivalents. These reserves are regularly reviewed through third-party assertions and internal and external independent reviews. Compliance with the DFS stablecoin guidance and bespoke supervisory agreements are also part of the examination process. All right, let's see. And that's about it right here. So yeah, that's coming from the government here, or the New York State government, I guess I should say. But it is some pretty interesting news. Let's hop on over here to CC Binance. Let's see. Okay, here we go. He says, in summary, BUSD is issued and redeemed by Paxos and funds are SAFU. We were informed by Paxos that they were directed to cease minting the UBSD by the New York. We already read this here. As a result, BUSD market cap will only decrease over time. Paxos will continue to service the product and manage redemptions. Paxos also assured us the funds are SAFU and fully covered by reserves in their banks, with their reserves audited many times by various audit firms already. So that should bring some confidence to people. Although usually when stuff like this happens, you don't want to be owning any BUSD. You don't want to be holding this at all right now, okay? Just out of pure safety, don't hold it. On the alleged SEC versus Paxos lawsuit, I have no information about it other than the public news articles. The lawsuit is between the US SEC and Paxos. I am not an expert on US laws, but personally, I agree with Millie's logic here, not that it means much. And this is actually what I was looking at earlier, and I think this actually has a good point here. So the SEC has labeled BUSD as an unregistered security and is suing its issuer Paxos. But how on earth is a stablecoin considered a security when it clearly doesn't meet the Howey test criteria? No one has ever had the expectation of profit when buying BUSD. In fact, I think when people look at stablecoins, they're always expecting to maybe lose like a fraction of a penny. Every time I sell USDT on Coinbase, I'm getting like 99 and a half cents on the dollar. I never get my full dollar's worth on Coinbase, right? But in doing so, the Supreme Court established 4 criteria to determine whether an investment contract exists. An investment contract is an investment of money and a common enterprise with the expectation of profit to be derived from efforts of others, right? That doesn't sound like a stable coin to me. That sounds more of like a Bitcoin, a Google, something that moves up and down with the markets. You're expecting to buy it because at the end of the day, you're looking to make a profit. You're not really looking to make a profit off of a stable coin. So that was something that was pretty interesting with all this. But this is the main reason why we're seeing Bitcoin having such a rough day here. You know, and this is the 4-hour chart. But if we just go maybe over to the hour chart here, Bitcoin wasn't hit as hard because we already know that Bitcoin's still trying to hold the support level over here just in time to see what would happen tomorrow during the CPI data. And we'll get over to that here in the next few minutes, okay? But if you go over here to the 15-minute chart so you can see the things a little bit more drastically, you know, we had Ethereum take a pretty nasty drop. Matic was taking some drops. Dogecoin was taking some drops, although Elon Musk kind of helped us get up to a nice level before sending us down. XRP was having drops. So a lot of stable coins were getting hit pretty hard by this. And we have made our way back up to those levels pre-dip, depending on where you guys are looking at it, depending on which coin. But it seems to have had a really negative effect on some of those altcoins out there. I believe UFO token took a really nasty hit here. Oh, that's because it spiked up before, though. So some of these coins were just taking some really bad hits. Not the end of the world here, guys. Not the end of the world at all. See, right here, we've come back up a lot, but we really did take a deep dive here. I'm not entirely sure how bad something like this may get. It seems like the market's not happy. The technicals at this point, as far as we're concerned with Bitcoin, are pointing to come down. They really are pointing to come down. The thing that's really going to save us here, the catalyst that we need in the next 24 to 48 hours, primarily I would say next 24 hours, 21 and a half hours basically, is we need the CPI data to be good. Not just meeting expectations, but very, very good. Otherwise, we start to break down below the current support level of around 21,480. That really brings us back down to the 50-day moving average, or more likely back down to 20,000. Right in this gray area down here, you can see the support level right here, things got kind of choppy over here as well. That's where we're going to be heading if we aren't able to get some good CPI data here. And then, of course, if we don't have good CPI data, that's going to affect the regular markets as well. We've been talking about the NASDAQ, the SPY, everything like that. They're all up here trying to hold some support levels, but if we start breaking down, that's where these overall trends start to show some ugliness, right? Maybe if I add this one over here for us, just that one that just does the resistance levels for me nice and easy. Oh, it's not going to work on this one. There's a resistance level up here that we're kind of just hovering in right now, but that's okay. There we go. But basically, this one kind of matches up with the two. We're just trying to stay on this uptrend, everybody. Once we break down below this uptrend, I'm not saying we're going to be crashing all the way back down here, new lows, nothing like that for now. Probably just making our way back down, probably back down to 380, 390 as far as the SPY is concerned. That'll look like a very scary time to a lot of people out there, but I don't think we're going to have anything super bad like that because right now the economy doesn't suggest that we need to have that. People are very optimistic, but as long as we don't have any real bad news kind of hurting that opinion, we should continue to go more sideways here in an attempt to break out later on over the next few months. My fear is that we're actually going to have some more bad news coming up. CPI numbers may be the start of this bad news, but even if we have bad CPI numbers, everybody, we're not crashing down here anytime soon. We're most likely just going to break down and go sideways where we break down out of this uptrend, and then we're just chilling out. Or, you know, maybe we could always just have a shoulder ahead and a shoulders down the road, but, you know, that's a guess on my part for now. Let's go back to the daily chart here. A lot of the assets that we've been looking at, especially when we talked about this Saturday as far as Apple and stuff, they're still holding the trend lines here, still holding the trend lines. Oh, this isn't, where's that sucker at? There we go. There you go. Still holding the trend lines here, have an opportunity to break out later on this week. And if we have good CPI numbers tomorrow, Apple's going to have a really nice breakout, probably to 158 or so. It'll be a very robust day. Crypto will also have a very nice move, probably not a breakout, but at least a very nice move, kind of bouncing off of that support level here. So that's why you're seeing so many people take advantage of those opportunities today. Remember, when it comes to Apple and a lot of other stuff, we're looking at golden crosses here. Microsoft had a really good time because of the ChatGPT stuff. Netflix is still doing high, although it's showing some weakness right now. Tesla getting back up here towards this resistance level, getting rejected, but overall still doing fine because it rallied up like, what, 60%, like less than a month. It's doing fine. So again, the same premise of what we've been talking about. I'm very observant right now. The technicals would suggest crypto wants to come back down. The stock market wants to keep going back up, or at least, I would say just sideways, at least for now, because we need a catalyst to actually have a larger breakout. Because again, at this point, does it really make sense that we should be looking for like new all-time highs for the Dow in this economy? Not really, right? But because I'm kind of pessimistic about the crypto market right now, I do think the one thing that can really save us here is going to be the CPI data coming out tomorrow, and I'm hoping it's really good because it'll give us a really robust move that can really just save us from breaking down here. This Paxos news really was like a little bit of a bummer for us because we were trying to hold it pretty successfully, and we still managed to hold it, but that's not what you want to see, even from a technical standpoint, is to start seeing us show weaknesses of breaking down right as a death cross is going to be occurring later on tonight on the 4-hour chart. Daily chart, we're already well down below the 20, and we're getting closer and closer to this 50. It's not what you really want to be looking at right now, because if you guys can forecast this out, maybe back up here to not this week, but next week, this is most likely going to be a death cross between the 20 and the 50. Not the end of the world, of course, like I said, but that might bring us back down here just to around $20,500 to $20,000 levels. Would I buy over here? Maybe to see what happens if we have some type of potential bounce, but I'm still of the mindset that we might be coming back down here to the $19,000 range, maybe $18,000 range. If we have bad CPI data, it'll be more of a dragging move down, and then we'll consolidate, have another breakout, and then we'll be looking okay again, unless we see some of that negative news coming out from the marketplace. What's right here? See, and hey, here, I'm happy to see you guys. Puma, Real Transporter. Mike with the massive microphone. No, I've had this microphone forever, but basically I've been trying to rearrange my setup here because my desk has been a little bit dirty because I've been eating at my desk a lot, working a lot, really like smashing out a whole bunch of stuff. And I even subscribed to ChatGPT Premium just because it was like I needed it, and it's like been working fantastic for me. And so basically I've been kind of like figuring out a way for me to type a lot easier without having the microphone here. this microphone thing, oops, water cup. This microphone thing is all over the place. If I swing it down like that low, you can see how this part down here, it's like right in front of my keyboard. So I'm just like doing that. I'm over exaggerating, obviously. But to kind of fix that, now I'm just kind of doing this microphone spot right here. I thought about maybe tilting it like this, but then at the same time, you see this wire right here that goes to my head. I would have to find a way to drop it down here because I don't want people to see it. So most of the time it would be like right there, you'd see it back, and then you see the cord right here. I'd have to figure out a way to kind of fix that up a little bit, but I'm working out my strategies right now. Oh, maybe you guys can still see the wires here. What am I talking about? Maybe I'll just do that then. I don't know. Oh, well, see, this blocks me seeing what you guys are talking about, but I can just move this over here, move that over here. Excuse me, and there you go. Maybe I'll try this for a little bit. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, we'll give it a shot, guys. We'll give it a shot. It's not going to cause too many problems here. Let's see. I don't know if you saw, but True Inflation released their expectations for CPI, and they think CPI will come in at 5.8%. Thoughts? At this point, I think 5.8% wouldn't be too bad. For me, when it comes to CPI, it's always a guess for me. I don't know exactly how they measure it. I would say inflation should be, in my opinion, should be okay. I don't think it's supposed to be bad. I know gas prices and some food prices continue to rise in January, and that is a little bit kind of scary. But we've had a few, like, 5 good months of inflation coming down, maybe 6 good months of inflation coming down. I don't see anything that would really change that trend for now, unless there's some type of surprise, again, like beyond energy or something like that. I do think that gas is going to continue to rise, unfortunately. Oil prices may be able to stay around the $82 range here. If we think about let's go over here to the watch list. There we go. There we go. There we go. We don't need the middle range right now. I think we're probably going to stay in this range for a while. I think I just heard that there's a deal that the government reached that they're going to be able to buy oil for like $72, $74 per gallon. Because remember, guys, one of the reasons that the oil prices came down so much, there was 2 real things happening right here, okay? We had the Ukraine war that was kind of messing up some shipping lanes. You know, Europe needed oil. So because oil was not available to go from Russia to Europe, the market kind of contracted. There was less supply, and the demand was getting more and more as winter approached. And you kind of had this really crazy move where oil prices just went parabolic for a little bit, right? Well, what ended up happening was America, China was still in lockdown during all this, right? But what happened was oil in America became a very valuable commodity. And, in a good way, how we manipulated the markets, just like all the other countries do, we started to get rid of oil in our strategic petroleum reserve, okay? Now, that's meant for military. It's not really meant for what we were using it for, but, it's politics. You got to do what you got to do to help people out, give and take, I guess you would say. And we manipulated the market all the way back down here, as well as us doing very well against Russia in the war. Things were looking okay. Now the problem is OPEC came out, remember, way back over here, and they're saying, hey, we're going to keep oil around $70 to $80. That's our price target here because we want stability in the marketplace, and we want to see continued investment into the oil sector, if you will, energy sector, okay? Because they need to make sure that it's profitable enough to continue drilling, right? Remember when Joe Biden was mad at the oil companies for saying, he said like, they don't want to drill, but I told them they can drill for that. We're going to need oil for 10 more years, right? Getting like from beginning to end to get like oil out of the ground, it takes years and years of work. So it wouldn't have been worth it for them to actually do any new drilling. That's the point I think the oil people are trying to say. But going back to OPEC, OPEC understands there's going to be oil and a need for oil for a long time to come because, again, even if, I don't know, even if for whatever reason, like America, we get some new breakthrough technology, everybody in the world owns a Tesla, and America and Canada and Europe get rid of gasoline and we're 100% electric, well, guess who else is going to need oil? Africa is going to need oil. Middle East is still going to be using oil. Russia is going to be using oil if it still exists in a few years, right? China is going to need oil. Southern Asia is going to need oil. And so, Australia is going to need oil even, it's just, it's not feasible right now that the whole world is just going to somehow get rid of oil. It's just not possible with the technology we have right now. So their main concern is keeping the oil prices steady. And you can see ever since they had that meeting, we've been pretty much just steady. You know, a little bit of ups, a little bit of downs, nothing too crazy. With the big caveat coming in right now is China's reopening. And you guys can see, I think China started reopening maybe a couple weeks ago now. Maybe even back actually over here. I'm not entirely sure. I remember all the strife and concern, people getting locked in their building, their houses and their factories and stuff like that. But China is starting to reopen, and the economy at this point in time is still okay. It's not good. It's not great. It's just okay, I would say, especially with all the layoffs happening. But if the economy is okay, that means we still need to buy stuff from China, which means they still need to use oil, and that should really pump us up from here. Should you be buying oil stocks? Maybe. But going back to that inflation question, I still believe that this right here is going to hurt inflation as far as it coming back down. Remember, all this was happening June, July. We really didn't start to see inflation coming back down until I think August. Here. Chart. So yeah, until August. Really, until August is when we started to see it coming back down. And we see over here, July, August. August is after we started to see those big prices coming back down. So over here was June, July. That was some of the worst inflation we saw because you can see how the price was moving up. So really August over here, getting a little bit better, still going down overall. Again, this is not the only thing that matters, but if you're a trucker, if you want to take a pallet from point A to point B, your gas is going to really determine how much you're going to be charging, right? And that determines how much the profit's going to be from the grocery provider, the person that makes the food, stuff like that. How much for the equipment to get the food out of the ground, stuff like that. And we found our bottom back over here in December. So now that we're starting to go more sideways, that may actually mean that inflation gets a little bit more sticky going forward. Maybe inflation is actually okay for this month, but it gets sticky next month. That's really the conundrum I'm dealing with right now. I'm not entirely sure how the market's going to buy this here because there have been some weird things happening with eggs, for instance, and other types of commodities out there. Let's see. I'm not spelling anything right. Commodity prices. Maybe this one. Maybe not this one. It's still loading at this point. 3-month. Orange juice is down. Does this actually work? Oh, this doesn't really tell me anything. No, this isn't. Is this even moving anything here? No, it's just moving this type of stuff. Okay. Intraday. Coffee's more expensive, I guess, today. Cocoa, palm oil, rapeseed. Rapeseed? Is it really just rapeseed and wheat? It doesn't tell me anything down here, I guess. That kind of sucks. I need to find a chart for commodities out there eventually. Here's something where I can actually look at. So monthly, coal's down. Holidays are pretty much over. Weekly, everything's pretty much simple. Year over year, crude oil is down, Brent is down, natural gas is down a lot. We've already talked about that. Metals are all down. Economy's looking a little bit better, right? Lumber's down. Remember the lumber shortage. Orange juice is up, I guess, from the year over year, but monthly, so daily orange juice is down, but I guess monthly orange juice is up. Coffee's up. Most everything is pretty much stable though. Wool is up, sugar is up, sunflower oil's down, butter's down. I didn't even know there was a butter thing. Cobalt's down. Oh, cobalt. Yeah, we're investing a whole bunch in cobalt mining. Okay, not too much here. Doesn't look too bad as far as when I'm looking at the commodities here. Electricity, everything's more expensive, I guess, in Europe. But I mean, that's not too bad. Year over year, though, it's a little bit cheaper, actually. Yeah, not too bad, actually. I'm sorry, I got caught up looking at Italy because there's grain in France. Why are those two? Yeah. United Kingdom is a little bit cheaper. Weekly, yeah. Okay, not too bad. But yeah, I'm assuming that because everything kind of runs on oil in the United States, we are going to have some more issues here. But I don't think it's going to mean that inflation should be like starting to do some really crazy reversal and we start getting back to like some crazy levels like we did last year. I don't think oil is going to spike that high. I don't think inflation is going to be able to spike that high. On the other hand here as well, I'm going to go over here very fast. When you're looking at some of these prices as far as the US dollar and the euro and stuff like that, we found a short-term support. We are bouncing a little bit, which concerns me, but I'm hoping this death cross here on the weekly chart can kind of try to finish the job. Historically, these death crosses do help us out a lot, but we really haven't had to deal with inflation in a long time since, again, like, oh boy, really bad inflation like we're seeing right now is way back over here in the 70s with the dollar, right? So a lot of crazy moves, but still the death cross ended up working out okay for us over here until it didn't, until the 80s came along, and then boom, yeah, you can see how the dollar became more powerful, and then the dollar got way stronger. We're not in that time yet, though. You know, we already found our high, I believe, for this market cycle. One last thing here. Go over here to the euro. We already had that breakdown there. That's not good for the dollar here, but they're facing their resistances as well. That's why we found our supports. We're hoping that over time, the euro will actually get more strength and continue to move up. Same with the pound and everything else. We want to see them get stronger. That means inflation for us is typically going down here. But it's just going to be a while. I don't know enough about inflationary data, like what drives inflation, besides, like, you know, your common sense analysis type things, right? So let's hope that inflation is doing okay, but to me, it's still kind of a guess. It's a feeling of like what I've been seeing. I would say inflation is probably just going to be around consensus, maybe a little bit hotter. I don't think it's going to be some really crazy low number, but I would still say we're going to be okay with it. Remember, the only reason we care about CPI is because we're wondering what that's going to make Jerome Powell do. Everything goes back to the Fed. Everything goes back to rate hikes. We're not going to have another rate hike this month or next month. It's going to be the next one. I think it's going to be in April sometime. It's going to be 123. It's going to be May 2nd. Oh, excuse me, March 22nd, March 21st. So February. Really? For a second, I thought it was in April. February. I wonder if it's a meeting or a rate hike. Let's see. It's 2022. Sure, let's just go with March for now. But basically, it's going to be a while before we actually do have another rate hike. I think around there I'll be in Vegas. And hey, Ken, happy to see you back, my man. Oh, DD, shout out for all the diamond huevos. Good evening, Mike and Loki. Hey, PHX. Loki says hello. He's behind me every now and again. He's chewing on a chew toy of some type. He's chewing on this. Loki. Yeah. It used to be a nice toy, and then he devoured it. The more he devours a toy, the more he likes it. He doesn't like new toys as much as the ones he's broken. I don't know why. One YOLO put for CPI week. I mean, yeah, what do you call it? Yeah, it's definitely an opportunity for you guys to do YOLOs. I'm not even trading anything going into this. I have my longs as always, but swing trades, day trades, I'm not doing anything. The only trade I really have is maybe one spot long for Ethereum, hoping that we can try to hold this level of support here around that 21,480 level. Hold on, guys. Loki's like jumping up and down on my desk, and I'm like worried about the structural integrity of it if he keeps doing it. There you go. All right. But yeah, it's definitely an opportunity to make some YOLO trades. For me, again, this is not even a time where I'd even be saying I want to trade. Yeah, you don't get treats whenever you want to. Yeah. You're a good boy, though. Yeah, there he goes. He likes getting the butt scratches lately. He's really hyper because we went to the park today. What's right here? If we would be bullish, then fade tomorrow lunch or so. What time does the CPI get announced? There you go. Doodle-doo has you back right there. General market expectations are CPI to come in at 6.3%, I believe. That's more realistic to me than 5.8. I don't expect it to be some really daisy number. I've heard a couple of different. I've seen a list of a whole bunch of different expectations. I guess the general one then is 6.3 is what you're saying. I would still say it shouldn't come in like really, really cold based off of a lot of the commodity prices kind of going more sideways here. We'll have to wait and see, I guess. But all the trends are saying, at least for crypto, that we should be going down from here. Not really the best of signs. Like right now, I even put up Lux Algo's indicators onto my charts today. And they already gave me a sell signal today. I was like, uh-oh, you're starting to see more and more sell signals. So like for now, Lux Algo Premium, got the sell indicator, excuse me, over here. Sorry guys, long day. And of course, I like to use some of these other squeeze momentum indicators and stuff like that. Let me stretch this out a little bit. You're seeing as of now, we've gone from green to red. You kind of see that squeeze happening, or the squeeze happen. Now we're in a squeeze release. That's not a good sign as well. I'm just hoping that this is a false signal because of what we saw happen with the Paxos news this morning. I think that's what's causing some of the concern here and why you're seeing so many signals saying, hey, sell, 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 sell. No, hey, down. But what do you call, a lot of stuff just isn't looking the best at this moment in time. At least, the Dogecoin ribbon is still green. That's kind of nice to see. But for the most part, I'm concerned that tomorrow we're going to be all the way back down here on 20,500, and Bitcoin's going to have a 1,000-point drop type of day tomorrow. Without any good CPI, I can definitely see that happening, 1,000 points within the next 24 to 48 hours of going down. Now, I'm hopeful that we can try to hold and everything like that, but at this point in time, I'm just a little concerned that we're not going to get the momentum needed unless we have that catalyst as we get pushed down by probably the 50 moving average on the 4-hour chart, and then possibly more bad news as far as us just not being able to break out of these resistance levels that we make, right? We had a support level back over here a while ago, broke down below that pretty nastily. Now we have a resistance level right here. I don't know if we're going to be able to continue to break out without some good news here. We really do need some good news as far as Bitcoin's concerned. Or, maybe if we're lucky, maybe the NASDAQ and the Dow Jones and the SPY can be the good news that we need. But even though, again, the NASDAQ went up like 1.6% today, Bitcoin didn't do nothing. So that's the concern at this point in time, right? Hopefully we can kind of stay afloat, though. There we go. Whatever most people think it's going to be the opposite, usually that's what happens. I mean, the last few months, they were okay as far as the CPI reports. It wasn't too bad. We were kind of lower than expectations for a couple months. And so I do think we're like in an okay spot. That's why I'm not as worried about it. I'm just hoping that this data doesn't get perceived by the market to somehow mean that we're going to need more interest rate hikes, or that rate hikes are going to have to keep on going up, right? I think what people are looking for as far as Wall Street is they want the inflation rate to match the Fed funds rate, right? That means that we're at a good Fed funds rate, and then we can just kind of not raise rates anymore and just settle down. So the faster we get down to that Fed funds rate, I think the happier the average Wall Street investor is going to be. But I still think even if inflation continues to go down at this rate, we're probably going to have 2 more 25 basis point rate hikes. 2 more 25 basis point rate hikes, I would say. At minimum 1, at max 2. I don't see us having 3 or 4 or anything like that, unless inflation decides to go up again, which would be kind of scary, of course. But at this point, inflation's coming down pretty well. Is the job done? No, but we have some stuff to be optimistic about, I would say. Still it's still a time to be dollar cost averaging, if you ask me. Russia backed their money by gold to defend themselves from the international banking cartel. The Federal Reserve has thankfully stayed 1 step ahead of the banking cartel. Hope U.S. backs money. I don't. Right now, there's a big old finance war going on, or a currency war, I guess. You guys know there's the BRICS countries, and then we have the Western Alliance type of countries, Europe and America, Canada type stuff. America just has to find a way to get its currency a little bit stronger. And by that, I don't mean like our currency is number 1 in the world right now. We need to find a way for us to not spiral out of control with our debt. That seems to be just a big problem right now. And I just don't know how we fix that problem at this point in time, because if the economy does get worse, usually when the economy gets worse, again, remember the last recession? We had both Bush and Obama flood the system with money. Just flood the system with money. What happens? I feel like there's a reason why they did this stuff, and it wasn't all just like corruption and stuff. But what happens if they don't flood the system with money? Like, just what happens? I don't know. Because usually all all that wealth goes somewhere, and it's not usually to the people at the bottom, right? So I'm curious to see how that'll work out. I'm curious about a lot of things this cycle, as you guys might have noticed. But I don't know if they're going to be able to flood the system with money, because this time we're fighting inflation. Can you imagine if we had high inflation back in the 2008 financial crisis? There might have been even more riots and crazy times. So yeah. All right, there we go. But this news definitely was the big headline for today. Let's see how it all gets cleared up. But be careful with it. Be careful if you guys are holding any BUSD. I would not be holding any. If I go down here, you can see BNB Binance coin took a really big hit today, and definitely hurt some people, right? Looks like we're just trying to hold the 50 and the 200 daily moving averages right now. The level of support I'd be watching is really down here around 280 or so, though, so I wouldn't actually be buying right now. Excuse me. Let's see. Back up a little bit to the weekly charts. Trying to hold a 20-week moving average here after a breakdown. Okay, not the end of the world. Maybe just go back as far as 257 or so for the Binance coin. That's not too bad. Right down here, 280s. Yeah, maybe down here, 270, but really just back down here to 256 if things get really bad for them. Otherwise, you're looking at support levels here or so, and I don't think we have a reason to be looking that bad, at least for now. Yeah. I mean, let's just look at Bitcoin's weekly chart. Not nearly as bad. See, not nearly as bad. Look at that little wick. Dow Jones is up. NASDAQ up. SPY up. Ethereum down, but not nearly as much. Ethereum, though, is showing some weakness right now, just like everything else, and this is concerning to me. You see how we're already breaking down today? We're breaking down below that level of support, and it looks like we want to retest this 1475. We're kind of around this level of the 50-day moving average here. So, again, there's not a lot of good stuff I see, and I want to make that clear. I just don't see much good stuff about this market at this point. I'm hoping that the CPI is going to be that good thing that we're looking for. You can already see that death cross that we were talking about possibly happening with Bitcoin. It hasn't happened with Bitcoin yet, but it's happened with Ethereum. Matic hasn't happened yet, but you can see it took that big dip down today, broke down below this support level here. Still has this support level though, so that may be kind of nice for it. Off of this nice double bottom that we saw. Dogecoin had a weird little spike throughout today because of Elon Musk and stuff. But again, this is kind of a separate thing. But we're back down to that support level. I would say Dogecoin's support level for right now is 0.07780. Nothing to be too concerned about at this point in time. XRP broke down. Link, this broke down out of another trend here, but this is kind of a Link is one of those things that just gets really choppy here. You can just see all these random support levels here. But we already broke down below this support level, I guess was the last one we were looking at. Really, yeah, that's unfortunate. STMX, a lower market cap coin. This one's actually been kind of grinding up for a while, so it's not really as useful. Over here, as far as SHIB, we had talked about maybe buying it back down here if it gets back a little bit lower, possibly play the reversal. At this point, we're just trying to hold this basic level of support from way back over here and over here. Not looking too bad. This had a really good rally this last cycle here. Litecoin already actually had a few breakdowns here. One breakdown, two breakdowns here, possibly heading back down. Oh, it actually did come back down to this zone right here. So, yeah, baby steps as far as I'm concerned, but I'm not really optimistic about where the market is at this point in time, right? Just not optimistic about it. And we're already really close to support levels. I don't want to be taking many chances at this point. And hey, Alex, how was the Super Bowl? I thought the Eagles had it. Chiefs took it home. It was a good Super Bowl. I enjoyed it. I don't really have I don't really care too much about the Eagles or the Chiefs, but it was a good game to watch. I will agree with a lot of people out there that I did not like the way the refs called that last game, that last flag. But I would say I don't know who would have won if that flag hadn't been called. Chiefs were doing good. Eagles defense had been kind of giving some stuff up. Jalen Hurts, I think, at the end of the day, it all comes down to him. If he didn't cause that, if he didn't drop the ball and give the other team 7 points, I think the Eagles would have managed to pull it out somehow. So a lot of ifs, ands, or buts, but I think overall it was a good game. It's kind of left a sour taste in my mouth because I don't usually like refs. And so, that kind of messed up the game for me. But everything besides that was a very enjoyable game. Lots of good offense here. Lots of decent commercials. Rihanna's halftime show was okay. I didn't even know she was pregnant. The Tubi commercial was pretty funny. I was like, what the heck is going on? Because I know I don't have Tubi. I was like, why the heck is my remote doing this? It was okay. The commercials, I would say, were just okay. Most I don't think were that good, but some were decent. Some were decent. You know which ones were good, which ones were bad. But yeah, I think it was a good Super Bowl here. And then I guess there's another football event coming up after the Super Bowl. So now we're going to go into another type of football season. The USFL, I think that's what it's called, USFL. So maybe I'll watch that or something, but I don't know if the USFL has a Seattle team. If they do, I'd love to watch it. But if they don't have my team, my local city's team, I'm probably not going to watch it too much. But it was a good Super Bowl, everybody. I enjoyed it. I watched. Oh, you guys can't see it because it's a green screen. But I watched on the 77 incher. It was nice. I got myself some Buffalo Wild Wings. Had some of those. Had some Jamaica drinks, some tea, just chilling out, relaxing. Good day. It was a really good day. I enjoyed the game. I enjoyed the Super Bowl. It was good. How did you guys enjoy it? Refs always F it up. Worst halftime show ever, in my opinion. What do you call? Was it Rihanna? So I missed the first part of it. I don't think she sang that song that she was talking about. Or she did for Wakanda Forever. The second Wakanda was the second Black Panther movie. I didn't like the second Black Panther movie. I like the first one. The second one, I really don't like it too much. Although I did like the bad guy, and I forget his name no more, but I like that guy a lot. Just not the main cast. I don't know. They felt like it was too weird for me. But I'm glad she didn't sing that song because I've heard it way too many times over the radio and stuff. But yeah, man, I thought it was fine. I was kind of hoping she'd actually have more people out with her. I mean, I thought it was fun. Like, as far as the entertainment thing, it was entertaining enough for me. I thought she might just have more people out there. Like an Eminem, I thought she might bring out or something. Something else here. Let's go over here very fast. So basically, what I want you guys to pay attention to right now is just what's happened over the last 7 days. I'm going to zoom in just a tad here. Again, just the last 7 days. Let me take a sip of tea before I do this. Oh, that's some good tea. All right. And you guys consider year-to-date as well. Actually, I think that both of these are probably good for us to take a peek at. So, year-to-date, Bitcoin is still doing fine. Down a little bit over the last 7 days. It's fine. Ethereum overall, guys, is fine. BNB, a little bit of a hit so far, but overall, it's still doing very well from year-to-date. XRP, year-to-date, fine. ADA, fine. Dogecoin, fine. Look at everything. Everything year-to-date is doing fine, even though this last week we've started to see that weakness. But I'm still overall pretty happy. And you can see some stuff has definitely popped up more than others. Leo definitely hasn't been doing a good job here. We've talked about Leo for such a long time here, but I think it's hard to buy this. I think this one is Leo. I think this, yeah. Ethereum Classic is down quite a bit, but Monero has actually probably not had too good of a time. Toncoin not having too good of a time. But mostly everything else, you talked about HBAR pumping, right? Everything is pretty much doing okay in my opinion. This is why I'm overall not too concerned. It's okay just to have a natural pullback as far as the market. Look at Phantom, 129%. Decentraland Mana, 113. Not too bad as far as what I've been seeing in the marketplace here. Also why I've decided to scale out of so many different opportunities at the same time. I have no incentive to be trying to be buying at these levels here, guys. I've told you that a few times already, but I just feel no incentive to buy. I've done one spot trade. That's it. To see what happens if we possibly bounce up here. And I would say that's more of a play if we have a good CPI number. If not, yeah, I'll just get the stop loss and I'll be out of it. Hit the 1 hour chart here where we close down below it. Oh, not too bad. Yeah, we're just hitting some levels of resistance right now, but it's not the end of the world. Last play, Harry Miller was weak. Yeah, I was so surprised when he threw that ball, and it just I was expecting it to go all the way to the end zone, like a launch, right? Because he had an open pocket. And I was like, launch that ball. Let's make it a good ending, regardless of what happens. Let's just make it a good ending. Yeah, the thing just went up a little bit, then just started dive bombing down, and I was like, what the heck happened? And there was nobody near it, so I had no idea. I think his shoulder was injured. I think they talked about that before the game, but I mean, regardless, that was not the throw to be making at the last play of the Super Bowl at all. John Travolta had a funny commercial. I don't think I saw that one. Michael B. Jordan. Super Bowl banned crypto ads, and Elon shows up in a Doge t-shirt. Yeah, I saw him sitting next to Murdoch. They were making a big deal of it on Twitter, I think. Which was really, I mean, I didn't really care too much. Right now, I'm ticked off at Twitter, though. as much as I love Elon, I feel like there's like what do you want to call it? Tinfoil hat moment where like, oh, there it is, Ohio. For a while, Ohio kept on being removed from the top #1 position, and it was being replaced by Valentine's Day over and over and over again. And I was getting very upset with it because I was like, dude, Ohio is #1. There's people talking about it like hundreds of people every second talking about Ohio, Ohio, Ohio. Because what's been happening over there with Ohio is, you guys know there was a train derailment, right? And basically what ended up happening here was I guess they had to do a controlled fire or something to light the chemicals on fire so they can clear up the railroad. And people are reporting that there's dead fish in the water. People are having issues breathing. Some lady's pet fox died. Another pet fox is like having a really bad puffy face. House animals aren't doing so well. Cattle down the river aren't doing so hot. And so, like, if that's true, I haven't heard anything about this from the main news organizations. All I saw from the main news organizations like the ABC, CBS, CNNs are just the fire, like the day the train wreck happened, right? I haven't heard anything about water being contaminated, fish dying, animals in trouble. I haven't heard any of that from the news. So I was very confused because I was thought, when I first see something on Twitter like this, I'm like, okay, so this might be a conspiracy theory, right? Something really crazy is going on. Some whack job is trying to promote something. Then I look into it and I'm actually looking for videos and stuff. And I'm like, oh shit, there's actually some news here. That we also had the flames up here from the smoke. We had the pictures like this. And I was like, oh my gosh. And like, I see some stuff about it on Twitter and I'm like, oh geez, this really can't be good. If chemicals are being lit on fire, that's not really a good sign here, right? So like here's a picture of the fire out here. Look at that. Massive plumes of smoke right there. They showed it, there was a picture of it, I believe, where it just showed a massive cloud, but this is it right here. Yeah, look at this. Breaking news reports indicate deadly vinyl chloride has contaminated the Ohio River as far as West Virginia, a water source for over 5 million people. Now, I can't say that this is accurate. I am not a journalist. That's not my point. But the point is, look at this cloud. That does not look healthy at all. That does not look healthy at all. So, usually when you have particles like this that get into the air, at least from what I've learned from Chernobyl, that movie, and a couple other friends I have that work in railroad industry, usually this stuff falls back to the ground. Now, in very, very small amounts, it gets spread out all over the place, but in very small amounts. But still, this stuff is probably settling on people's houses. I probably already did. This is probably an older photo. But this, that really does lead me to be more concerned. I mean, these are some great, but like disturbing photos of how crazy this scene really is. Like, that is like, again, out here in the Pacific Northwest or the West Coast, we're used to having very large forest fires and we're used to having a lot of smoke. We're not used to having chemical smoke just go in the air, which is going to be, just interesting. What's happening in Ohio, farm animals and pets dropping dead miles away, schools of fish floating dead in waters, big media, where you at? I haven't really seen much news on it, honestly, except for, again, what the day the train derailed. That's the only news I've really been able to see. So Phoenix Ammunition says, I am 3 3/4 miles from where the train derailment occurred in Ohio. The coverage is terrible and I don't know what to trust, so I'm considering making the drive to see it myself. Who would be interested in some kind of Twitter Spaces or YouTube live stream on site? So maybe there's a YouTube over there that'll kind of talk about it. But again, there's so much misinformation online that you never really know who to trust, right? But these pictures are going everywhere, and just by looking at that picture, this doesn't look good at all, and it, like, let me see, videos. I could have swore there was dead fish in here. Oh, wait, here, let's look at this. Hold on here. Let me turn down the music on my thing. Let's turn the music volume all the way up, and let's listen to this report by this lady here. Can you guys see this? Let me full screen. Yeah, you can guys see here.
Well and groundwater are safe. However, after this couple saw dead fish in this creek that you're looking at, they're deciding to not take any chances.
There was hundreds.
Russell Murphy is referring to the fish now belly up in Leslie Run. He and his wife noticed them last night, barely 48 hours after the fiery derailment 5 miles away.
This is huge, huge environmental effects.
That's now one of many concerns the EPA now faces.
The impact of the fish, yes, there was a impact of those. However, the levels as we have seen it are protective to groundwater. We are aware there are some wells along that for residential wells.
Environmental cleanup crews were at and actually in that water today. So are these booms, which are used to catch and stop anything that shouldn't be flowing here, or into water wells, which Murphy uses for just about everything.
Okay, so like if there's dead fish floating in my local water source, am I going to be drinking that water? No, no. Why would I do that, right? So you can even see this one over here. I'm not going to play the audio for it, but you can see the smoke billowing out, and you can see how it's being carried over by the nice little breeze here. But again, that really does cause a little bit of concern, don't you think? And you heard the specialists say that the water is safe, but again, if you guys are telling me the water is safe, why are fish floating dead in it by the hundreds apparently, but from an eyewitness person, right? So when I'm forced to have questions like that, I get a little bit more concerned. So I really don't know what's going on in Ohio, like personally, but it just doesn't seem like it's good stuff, right? It just doesn't seem like it's good. People are calling it the Ohio Chernobyl. It's not nuclear from what I understand, it's just chemical, but chemicals can cause a lot of harm as well, right? So this really does lead me to be a little bit more concerned about the situation over here. I did hear that some journalists got arrested because they were trying to go and like record what was happening or something at like at a press conference. I don't exactly know what was going on there. Maybe they were being unruly or something, but at the same time, that does again just lead me like, arresting a journalist at an event talking about this is not the way to stop conspiracy theorists from getting like going crazy with it, right? Again, like this is that's just pretty crazy. But let's hope they figured out this guy's walking. Let's see. Okay, he's just talking. I don't care. Just walking and talking. But you can see it's getting more and more viral here. This is Morning America. I don't know what Morning America is. I don't have cable. But you can see here's some chemicals. I can't pronounce any of these chemicals here, but I'll click on this and zoom in so you guys can read them yourself. Because I really don't know what these chemicals are. Vinyl chloride is something. Isobutanol, something. I don't know. Yeah, so these chemicals right here above my head. Those don't seem like the best of chemicals, but let me just type into one of these right here, search Bing for it. A colorless liquid with mild, pleasant odor, less dense than water, flash point of 160, irritates skin and eyes, and may be toxic by indigestion. Water, yeah. Used as solvent to make paints and varnish. Oh, well, that's not good at all. Hey, so that's not good. So that first thing doesn't seem too good. We'll see if any of this other stuff is bad or not. I mean, they're probably bad if they're being talked about it, but let's check it out. We'll go back to the charts here in a second. It's used as a raw material to make adhesive coatings, construction materials, acrylic rubber, and emulsions. Can be hazardous if not handled properly. May be harmful if swallowed. Well, that's not good at all. Is rapidly metabolized in rats. A small proportion is exhaled as carbon dioxide in 24 hours, and a small portion is excreted as thioethers in urine. I don't know. So that doesn't sound good as well. This other one, I can't pronounce it as well. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce this, guys. I'm just reading what Bing and Google are giving me. Don't hate on whatever this stuff is. Hydrocarbon with a chemical formula CH3 2C equals CH2. It's a 4-carbon branched alkyne, one of the 4 isomers of butanol. It's a colorless flammable gas and is considered and is of considerable industrial value. So it's a flammable gas. So it's gas. So nobody wants to be drinking gas as well. So now I can understand why there's some fish dying and stuff like that. If that's in the water, again, I don't want to drink it. And I'm guessing what happens is it gets into the water. There's small amounts of it, and that's why they're saying it's still safe. But I don't want to be drinking any of this. I would say, like, when you ever talk about chemicals like this, usually they can cause cancers and bad stuff down the road. Like not now, not a week from now, not even a month from now, not even a year from now. 5 years from the road, you just realize you have cancer. You're like, why did I get cancer? And it's like, nobody will ever know, but you could possibly say it's because of this. The government's probably going to pay out down the road on this stuff. Let's see. This colorless compound is an important industrial chemical chiefly used to produce the polymer something chloride. I don't know what this is. It is highly toxic, flammable, and carcinogenic. So it may be due to the ability to damage the genome or to disrupt the cellular metabolic process. Several radioactive substances are considered. Okay, so yes, it could be some issues there as well. So you know, it does seem like a concern. I would tell you guys to go look it up yourselves and try to find out who you can trust, because I haven't really seen much information on this as far as regular news. So yeah, we'll have to kind of learn more here. This is from a local ABC station. Here, hold on a second. Stop the music. Volume up all the way. Excuse me. Let's see. Last one, then we'll go to Bitcoin.
We now know 3 more chemicals that were on board the Norfolk Southern train that derailed here in East Palestine just over a week ago. And we're being told that some of those chemicals are dangerous.
We basically nuked a town with chemicals so we could get a railroad open.
The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency sent a letter to Norfolk Southern stating that ethylene glycol monobutyl ether, ethylexyl-acrylate, and isobutylene were also in the rail cars that were derailed.
I applaud this lady for understanding how to say those words, or at least practicing to say those words.
Breached, or on fire. Caggiano says ethylexyl-acrylate is especially worrisome. He says it's a carcinogen, and contact with it can cause burning and irritation in the skin and eyes. Breathing it in can irritate the nose, throat, and cause coughing and shortness of breath. Isobutylene is also known to cause dizziness and drowsiness when inhaled.
I was kind of surprised that when they quickly told the people they can go back home, but then said if they feel like they want their homes tested, they can have them tested. I would have far rather they did all the testing.
Caggiano says it's possible some of these chemicals could still be present in homes and on objects until you clean them thoroughly.
Oh, there's a lot of what ifs, and we're going to be looking at this thing 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the line and wondering, gee, cancer clusters could pop up, you know, well water could go bad.
Caggiano recommends.
Okay, so again, that just doesn't sound too good, all right? Doesn't sound too good. But I'll keep you guys updated if I see anything as far as what's going on in Ohio, but I would just generally confused because normally, you know, you want to go to the Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CNBC, you want to be able to go to those news stations to kind of get a figure with it. Normally, they kind of are biased when it comes to politics in their own way. Usually, you don't really see them ignore something like this, right? It's kind of weird. All right, now let me make a move right here. Let me put that right there. Okay. And hey, Shannon, where did this happen? Ohio. Yeah, Ohio. There you go. And hey, Miss K, happy to see you back. It's right here. Cars, plastic was melting. Oh, geez, that'd been messed up too. That derailment happened February. Hey. No, pause on the keyboard. He's acting up. He really wants some treats, but that behavior like that doesn't get you treats. Yeah, no. I can tell all you want. February 3rd, and they're trying to keep it hush hush. It's bad news. Yeah, I mean that's like 2 weeks ago now. Almost 2 weeks ago now. My coworker lives 5 miles from there. Hopefully she's doing just fine then, because it doesn't look like, well, 5 miles away, that could actually be pretty bad then. Reporter was arrested for asking important questions. That is it. Hey, Kevin, happy to see you back. See, this is why I like talking with you guys, because I have no idea what's going on here, because I've heard tons of stuff, but I never know what exactly is going on as far as like the reporter getting arrested. Because I saw tons of, like, I wasn't able to watch the entire video as far as like listening to see what was being said. I only caught the end of it when he was actually being arrested. I wasn't able to see like the beginning of what started the altercation, if that makes sense. And hey, Fat Buddha, nobody, that Asian guy video you just passed probably has the best video breakdown. Nobody is going to want to live there now. I mean, I wouldn't want to live there right now based off of all that. Issue is some of these chemicals alone don't do one thing and mixed with moisture does another thing. One of the chemicals mixed with moisture turns flammable, which is another issue, basically acid rain. Oh, yeah, see, that's not too good, guys. Hopefully everybody out there is going to be just fine, but you know, call me a skeptic for not really believing in the government to tell the whole truth here, right? Heck, we're like shooting down balloons left and right now too. So there's a whole bunch of weird stuff, and I guess I think our jets flew into Canadian airspace to get a balloon, like probably with Canada's permission. But you know, there's a whole bunch of crazy stuff going on right now, right? A whole bunch of crazy stuff. Let's take a quick peek over here at Ethereum. I just want to check out some of the support levels. Yeah, we rose so high, there's not really a support level for Ethereum unless it's the 50 or the 200 on the daily chart. So guys, if we do have a bad day today as far as crypto is concerned and the CPI data going into tomorrow morning, I would say you're probably going to see Ethereum come back down here to 1439. It's not going to be the largest of drops, but it'll be 4% maybe. Again, not the end of the world here, but that's probably where you're going to be seeing Ethereum go down. Matic will probably go down a little bit more. As you can see, we've already broken down below those support levels. It can go as far as $1.06, and that might be more, 9% range. That kind of fits more into the altcoin levels that we're used to when we have some really crazy volatility. But keep an eye out for the majority of your coins looking at. Even XRP that broke down yesterday, it's still moving down at this point, back down to that support level, maybe just right down here around 36 cents, like almost where it is now. It's like half a cent more. But if we start breaking down below this, of course, we're going to be heading back down here to the 35, 34 cent range. Kind of lucky not really lucky, but I would say it's okay that, we didn't really have a crazy big boom. It only popped up like 30% for XRP. Not nearly as much of it as a whole bunch of other coins, right? Dogecoin over here, kind of more of a mild case, I would say, from those lows. It went up like 51%. Matic went up 81%. XRP doesn't really have that huge move. Like, it didn't come back up to here, then start crashing. So I think XRP, while it's dragging down, it's not at risk of going down as nearly as much as some of these other coins. It's doing the dropping now, right? But you see a lot of stuff is looking for some support levels here. So if you guys are trading this tomorrow, just be a little bit more careful. Let me see if there's actually any other squeezes. No, not squeeze from here. What about Ethereum? Actually would be the good one. Ethereum hasn't started to do a squeeze release, though, according to this. Neither has Matic. Dogecoin not. XRP not. Link not. Yeah, so this news with Paxos kind of messed stuff up today. Let me get rid of that, though, very fast. There we go. 2-hour chart. Yeah, this is more of what I'm looking for right now. There we go. All right. But if any of you guys want me to check out other stocks or crypto coins, let me know, guys. It's just going to be a chill day for us. If the CPI comes in hot, do you think Bitcoin will shoot up to short squeeze then plummet? If CPI comes in hot, do you think Bitcoin will shoot up to short squeeze then plummet? Maybe, but usually you're going to see some volatility around it anyway. Normally you see a one of two things, either a straight shot up or a straight shot down. Then whatever way it shoots up, it usually ends up going the other way pretty fast. I would say don't bet on it, but yeah, it would be okay to actually start formulating a plan for that if you did want to trade it. For me, though, there's no reason to even want to trade this event until after the CPI comes out, see which way it's going, and then you're probably going to be looking for a multi-day trade based off of the direction it's sending you right there. So you're hoping that, again, if we have good CPI numbers that come out today, and maybe they're like below 6%, something really, really good, you could possibly see Bitcoin shoot all the way back up here to like 22,500, back up, like a really nice, robust move back upwards. That'd be really nice. Maybe if I go to the 4-hour chart here, 22,300 level, very easily to do, and possibly by the end of the day coming back up here towards 22,600, and then maybe by Wednesday or something we get back up here to 23,221. I think we could easily break these levels over the next few days if we just have a good CPI number. On the other hand, if things aren't looking as good and there's a little bit more pessimism out there because CPI data comes out hot or something, well, then we start coming back down here really fast, really hard to 20,500 at least, and then possibly 20,400 level or so. But again, it wouldn't happen all in one day. It would probably take 1 to 2 days, probably like going into Wednesday, basically, because the overall market's not going to like that. Because we're already seeing these death crosses that happen right here. Remember, death cross right there, nasty move followed. Death cross is coming up between the 50 and the 200 pretty soon. Remember, after these larger moves, it's not the end of the world, but usually you don't want to see these death crosses occur. They usually don't really bode well for us. The good thing now is that we have economic data coming our way, like the death cross here. That's not a death cross, but you know, we have economic data that should be the catalyst one way or the other. So as much as we want to say that, hey, like, you know, Bitcoin is looking like it wants to go down from here, as much as I want to say that, I'm like, hey, we can actually still have a pretty decent reversal if we just have that good news as far as the CPI is concerned. That'd be really, really good news for us right now, especially because, again, go over here to the US dollar. The dollar is facing some resistance right now, just kind of in this trading range. We could always go down a little bit more. That'd be very helpful to the markets out there, kind of take it more to a risk-on approach. And then from there, you know, try to just stagnate back over here. And that'd be something really, really good. But if we start having a stronger dollar, you know, we're probably going to run up to 105. That'd probably, you know, and that during that process, Bitcoin would also be coming back down to like $19,000 at that point, because this is a pretty robust move for the, you know, the currency markets. But as far as some of these stocks that we've been watching that kind of control which way the NASDAQ and the SPY go, remember, Apple is riding a very tight trend line right now, and it's just trying to stay above that. We really need Apple tomorrow to, again, we need CPI data tomorrow to be very robust. That way Apple can continue to move up here. And if Apple continues to break out and go higher, that buys us more time before we have to deal with this breakdown. And this breakdown can lead to one of two things. It'll mean the uptrend is broken and we're going more sideways, or it means the uptrend is broken and now we're heading back down. If you guys, you know, are more of the you know, the, what would you want to call this, of the economy is not like great type of look, you know, it's not great, but it's just kind of okay or bad, if you will. You're probably not expecting it to really break out much more than it already has. You know, but if good CPI data comes out, I mean, we could attempt to break out about 158. And then from there, I mean, like, there's not really much resistance until we hit up here around 164, which would be totally crazy. Because again, you know, us getting back over here would just be absurd. Us getting back up here would be absurd. But the market is just doing some really irrational stuff right now, which is fine. You know, we're still going to trade it. But for me, I'm more excited to see when this stuff starts to break down. That's when I get more optimistic that Bitcoin's going to go down, the crypto market's going to go down, the NASDAQ, the SPY, that type of stuff is going to go down. So we have that. You see Microsoft over here. This is dealing with some stuff because of ChatGPT. A little bit different. It's it's already been actually breaking out here. Let's go over to the weekly chart there. You know, this one's actually pretty far away from its longer term support or resistance, using around 284. For me though, let's put the magnet on here. Right? We already hit that one price level. That's normally when I sell in these types of environments, and 2 days of testing it out, finally broke out above it today. Maybe we get up here to 283 again. That's the next resistance level. But again, CPI does not make me want to do any trades right now as far as this is concerned. You still see these basic trend lines right here. Technically, we closed down below it there. Try to get back above it today. Maybe we're able to. But you're seeing weakness as far as this upward trend here. You're still seeing the weakness. And I don't like seeing that type of weakness when I want to buy something. Netflix been showing weakness for a little bit of time now, showing a level of resistance. I guess we broke down out of this higher lows here. We broke down below that. Tesla showing some resistance just from back over here. Nothing too crazy. This can always make another move higher. But again, you're starting to see that weakness, and you're either going to be buying during this consolidation period or you're just going to be waiting it out. And normally I don't want to be buying in this consolidation period if we're looking at the CPI data coming out tomorrow. Amazon over here as well had that big spike. Came back down to earth a little bit, just looking to get back into a consolidation phase. But you guys can see Amazon already broke down, and you can see it's been coming down bit by bit. I expect something like this where it comes down, but then it kind of gradually goes sideways. I expect that to happen with a lot of Apples, Googles, and the such. But it really depends on which support levels you're looking at, because this thing had a few weird ones, right? Broke down here technically, and then it just kind of bolted up. There's a lot of weird stuff happening in the market right now because everybody just wants to buy and buy and buy. MU, sideways action, nothing to the will, just some sideways action, right? Hitting a range. Resistance, resistance, resistance. Nothing crazy about that whatsoever. We're just hitting our resistance levels right now, and we're hoping, the market is hoping, that all this good news that we've had about inflation coming down, Jerome Powell sounding maybe a little bit more dovish than he has in the past, that will lead us to break out here and start testing some of these larger resistance levels that we haven't really talked about since last June. NVIDIA as well broke out above this resistance level over here a while ago, and you're seeing that. Now it caught back up here. Some stocks are just back in this level right here, and we're hoping that they take that next level up. I think that's what a lot of the market a lot of people in the market are really expecting here. Remember resistance, it already broke out here as far as AMD. This is more because they had really good earnings. It popped them up to that next support level, or that above resistance, and now we're hovering at those support levels here. Back to Facebook. Facebook had a really good earnings report, and I mean, just look at that. Boom, back up here to resistance levels. I mean, these resistance levels are kind of even crazy. They should, like, let's go to the weekly chart here. Right? You could already see Facebook go up a little bit more here, but right now we're just testing out these levels right here. But we have broken out above them, although you can see the weakness that's happened. We're kind of just getting into this euphoric area where like nothing makes sense, and that's okay, but it's weird. I want to be buying these low parts and trying to buy them up, not playing around with them too much. Broadcom, this is something I don't normally like because you can see how once it breaks a trend, it doesn't really do anything. It just kind of goes sideways and up. I don't play around with that if it's not going to be honoring the breakdowns and breakouts here. Depot, see the more sideways trading right now, just going back up here. Lows, something similar, that trading range right there. Intel over here, again, staying within that trading range that we've been seeing those highs. As long as we kind of stay in this, as long as the majority of assets kind of stay in that little zone, we'll probably continue to go more sideways. And if we continue to go sideways for too long, that's when we start to break down. We're hoping that over the next few days, with all this CPI numbers coming out, that'll give us the big catalyst that we've been looking for to end the consolidation periods and continue the breakout process here to go up to that next level for a lot of assets out there, which would be a huge move for Bitcoin, probably taking us up to at least 25,000, if not 26, 27,000. It'd be very, very hard for us to do that, but that'd be the goal for crypto during that time frame. If I go back over here and maybe if I just do that. Right now we're testing out some resistance levels right here, it looks like. Maybe it brings us back up here to 23,000. Then from up here, what is this? Yeah, 27,000. Now there's other resistance levels out there as well. Some up here on 26, one right here on 25,000. But there's an opportunity if we have that good news to really launch us forward here. But not really much resistance after that. I mean, we have to look at like the resistance level up here from 25,000 to 216. That's true, but that's by the premium here. But there's an opportunity for us to get back up to at least 25,000. And if you guys are buying right now $25,000, that's about 15% above. Imagine what those altcoins will be if Bitcoin's shooting at 15%. That's the bet people are making right now, hoping that CPI data is going to be good for tomorrow. Now, back over here very fast. So if we go back over here to didn't even click on anything. So the positions that have the highest premium right now bought today, these are all bought, yeah. 5/19/2023 puts, $17 million. The put is for $3,600 strike price. Way above that or below that right now for... So 3,600 is down here. Whoa. So this is the weekly chart. Let's get rid of this for now. Yeah, so 3,600 is way down here. That's a really, really big price. That's a really, really big movement there. I tell you that. Over here, bid ask. I mean, these are really expensive ones. This is for 2024. We don't have to worry about that one. 915. That's a while away. $79. That's must be a hedge or something, because that's 70. Yeah, 36. Yeah, that's okay. Wow, that's 2024. Anything that expires this week though? Let's see. Days to expiration, let's say up to 15 days. Or we can do a range here. Let's go from this Friday to next Friday. It's not bad, yeah. There we can, So we got some calls here for 4,200 strike price. We're currently at 41.37, so we're already there close by. 315 call. This one's out of the money, it looks like. 217, this is for this Friday. So that doesn't bode well here. Unusual dollar. How much has this gone up since they bought? A lot of people trading this today. A lot of people trading this. A lot of asks out there. Chart. So they bought it at $1.05 and it's currently at $1.32. So they're pretty happy with the way this moved today. Let's see, anything down here? A lot of puts though. Just a lot of puts. SQQQ, that's bearish. That's a call. I see a lot of puts though. A lot of puts. Oh, here's some Tesla calls. Oh, they must be banking on Tesla to do something. 195, 192. These are expensive calls. So that's why I don't really try to trade Tesla too much, but that's interesting. Okay. So, people are making some big bets basically about what's going to be happening over the next few days. Excuse me, guys. But without that catalyst, let me go back over here. There you go. Without that good CPI data, the crypto market's going to fall. So we need to have the good data. Otherwise, we are going to be taking it back down to at least, you know. I mean, I would say honestly, just around $20,000. There's really nothing really crazy to be fearful of. Just, you know, another lit dip down. We're hoping though that we can just try to stay above the 21,480. At this point in time, guys, we're still holding above support. We are seeing some of those trends shift for sure. Starting to see more sell signals for sure. But CPI can really change all that in a heartbeat, and that's really what you're going for at this point. Yeah. Did you know that there was 2 other train derailments today, Texas and South Carolina? I did not know that. Jesus, yeah. This is sometimes it's just weird. It just feels weird, right? It just feels weird. Verb and CTRM are some of those cheap stocks I kind of wanted to YOLO because they are cheap. Any thoughts? I mean, as long as you understand they're YOLOs, I would say go for it, but make sure you have your stop losses in place if you're going to be going down that road. I can look at one of them very fast. You said CTRM. I think I've traded CTRM in the past here. Yeah, Castor Maritime. Yeah, it's a shipping company. As far as the zone, if you wanted to hold this for a while, it's at $1.29. The lows are really around $1.04. It looks like maybe down here as far as $1. No earnings coming up soon, I hope. No, the earnings already happened a while ago. Okay. I would say sure, you can give it a shot. I'm sure there's some type of high short interest on this as well. So I would look to try to hold this for a while and just wait for a pretty decent pump to occur. Stop loss would probably be around $115 or so. I wouldn't try to, $1.15. I wouldn't try to really look to hold it until it gets all the way back to $1 if it does want to go down that far. You're looking at the 200 daily moving average creeping in bit by bit. I think that's the catalyst you're looking for from a technical perspective to actually launch it back up maybe towards 140, all the way up here to 160 or so. Last time we crossed above the golden crosses here, or the 200, we had a pretty nice move. Golden cross is there, but it really didn't amount to a huge move afterwards. Time after that, pretty nice move popping above the 200 here. Okay, can't go back in time anymore with that. I would say tradition looks like the 200 is an okay move. You see some really nice volatility there. This one, not so much. I would say I would give it a shot to get back up here towards 145 to 160. This zone right here is where I'd like to sell. If you want to scale out some, I would scale out some around 145 first. Let the rest kind of ride up here. But if it does, like if it goes back up here and falls back down, I would just take my money and run and just be happy that you're able to buy it for 130 and sell it for like 150 or 155 or even just 144, 145. Hey Kevin, do I think I see any good options plays? Not right now until CPI data is over. I'm basically waiting for a lot of these different plays right now to have their breakdowns. So the majority of stocks that we normally talk about, the Microsofts, Apple, stuff like that, besides Tesla at this point, they're all kind of in these nice uptrends that are really, really beautiful and like they're kind of easy to draw the trend lines on them. It's when those options start to break down that I start looking at more opportunities for puts here. I think they're going to come down probably like the NASDAQ and the SPY maybe 4 to 5% after we see Apple and Microsoft break down. Google as well, but Google's already had a rough few days, right? And then I think that's where you guys are going to be looking to buy a whole bunch of puts. Once Apple and Microsoft themselves start to break down, it'll drag down the NASDAQ, the SPY, everything will just come down as everybody takes a little bit of a breather after what's been an amazing January. They're like, hey, let's lock on some profits. Let's get ready to play the next cycle here, regardless if it's going up or down, right? But right now with the CPI data, no, I'm not trading anything. I'm basically just watching Apple and Microsoft and like Nvidia and some of these other plays, waiting for those key breakdowns to take place so I can take some money on those. Short-term, 1 week puts, probably holding 2 to 3 days each. Or if I want to hold more than 3 days, I'm going to look for a put that would expire next Friday. Do you think we test 17,000, 16,500 again, or was that the low? I think we test them again. Not anytime soon, though. I would say we test those bad boys probably later in Q2 or in Q1 right now. Probably sometime in Q2 we have to come back there. Again, the only thing that really makes me think we're getting back down there anytime soon is if we have economic data coming out saying like, inflation is bad. Oh my God, layoffs are getting worse. Oh my gosh, the economy is much worse than we thought. Oh my God, we're going into recession. That's what to me would cause Bitcoin to go back down to those levels and even further down over time. You know, it's not uncommon when Bitcoin and the markets rally up so much that we have some really crazy volatility in the marketplace. You know, what I would always tell you guys to go do is just kind of look back at what happened for the stock market back in the early 2000s. So let's go to the weekly chart here. We've had some volatility moments, but we're not looking. You know, we haven't had financial crises and issues except for like right there, and then over here as well. But you see some of these wild swings that we've had, very wild swings for the market. And this is a weekly chart here, so it's not going to look as crazy. But you know, this rally over here was the 54%. After that 54% rally from the end of the bear market, we dropped down another 62%. You know, this rally over here was 61%. We proceeded to fall down another 55% after that. So, you know, I'm not saying we're technically in one of these events, but I would assume we're looking at some type of chart that looks something like this, and eventually we're going to have that few months of time where everything is just going really shitty, and you guys are just going to be dollar cost averaging like crazy, hoping for a bottom. Now that we have technical analysis and all that type of stuff, or computers trading and all that type of stuff, it does make it a little bit more different and more complicated than it was back in the day. But, you know, we can go back over here and just say, hey, what would be some of the technicals that we might be looking at here? Your basic fibs, like all the way down there. Right? I mean, it even went lower than what we were thinking about. You had some basic pivot points down here, but my gosh, it didn't even help us too much. There we go. A pivot point right here, a pivot point right there, a pivot point right there. So you had an opportunity, but I mean, if we're going off of this type of logic, I don't think we're going to come back all the way down here to this. I don't know. I'd have to check this out here. Hold on. So I guess we would have to use the lows of 2008, perhaps. You know, maybe we come back down to what Lux Algo says is the equilibrium. Maybe we just end up coming back down here to 8,600. That'd be really low in my opinion. That'd be crazy. But I mean, it could happen. But again, the economy has to get to a certain point where things are just looking really, really rough. Really, really rough. And the death cross here isn't going to happen until April, at least as far as the NASDAQ is concerned. Let's go over here very fast. Make this move back a little bit more. Back down to the lows of the whole cycle here before the financial crisis. This one takes us back even lower, all the way down here to 8,007 or 8,100. So if I move this over here very fast, and what is this? Turn that off. You know, we bounced off of this one. Okay, this one. Okay, maybe we just come back down to 86, 87. That kind of matched up with one of the other ones. Maybe that's as far as we come back down. Looking at some of these longer levels here. But I don't think we've seen the lows of this cycle just yet. But we are in a very nice sideways move, which is at least okay for now, right? We're okay. But yeah, I can maybe see us coming back down here if things get really, really rough. I would say maybe just this zone is probably where we're going to end up going down. You could always use the COVID lows and stuff like that. Maybe that might help you with more precision. Again, bounced off of here, really didn't bounce off there. Bounced off here was fine. Didn't really bounce off there. So maybe not as reliable. but again, still kind of around the zone of maybe around 8,000 something for the NASDAQ. As far as looking at the SPY and stuff like that, depending on which SPY you guys like to use, maybe I actually like using the SPX more. Which one is it? It's on my watch list here. Oh, SPX, yeah, okay, there we go. Let's get rid of this over here very fast. This circumstance, there we go. Not really, pivot there, kind of a pivot here, not a pivot there. Pivot here, kind of okay. Same type of thing we saw with that last NASDAQ play, right? So maybe the SPY just gets back down here towards $3,200 or so. That's not too bad, you know, 800 points less. If we come back down here, I'd be surprised, but I guess it's always possible. Again, it really just determined like how bad the economy gets. Let's go to the monthly chart here so I can kind of show you, because again, looks a little bit different, the dot-com bubble and the financial crises compared to what the NASDAQ and the Dow Jones do. Back over here. Let's go to the weekly chart. Really, this one hasn't really helped us out too much. A little bit there, not really there, not really there, kind of there, kind of. Not really what I'd be using, I guess. Maybe if I switch this up just a little bit just to see what's going on. Maybe this says we're going to be coming back down to 3,000. I'd be surprised, but I guess it's possible. Let's move this down over here very fast. Bring this down to 3,100-ish level. And let me click on this one more time here. Again, a small little weird pivot point here, but not really much after that. But let's say this one maybe works. It kind of matches up with this support level behind my head right there. Maybe we come back down to 3,200. I can see that being the lows for this cycle. I don't think we're going to have anything necessarily terrible unless the economy really gets into a bad position. And again, there's like at this point, there's no reason to believe that the economy is going to hit such a bad spot. You know, unless there's like a big war, like another war with Russia, something like that. Something really bad has to happen besides the American economy going through a mild recession, is my point, in order to see some of those really low levels we talked about. Which one is this? Oh, that's what I'm looking for. Why do I have this on so many different types? There we go. Okay. Today was a record low volume day? Well, I believe so. Remember, guys, everybody's taking bets. This is a gambler's market for tomorrow. So if you're expecting something really good or really bad, you're placing bets to try to make a good, some good money on it. I myself am like one of the reasons we're not having a lot of volume. I don't feel any reason to actually be doing a lot of trading right now. I am perfectly happy to just chill out and watch this madness go down as far as crypto, as far as the stock markets are concerned. Just chill out, relax. No reason to freak out about it. And hey, Kenny, DCA has been working out well so far. I mean, it really has been. That's why you do a little bit of dollar cost averaging. Remember, guys, we're still towards the lows of a cycle. Regardless if we've seen the bottom or if we still have another 10, 15, 20% to go, this is still an okay opportunity to be buying if you think about the long term here, which is really what's important for you guys that have wanted to do the easy method, which is buy, and sell towards the all-time highs and just be happy with what you make. That's usually the best way to do it. For you traders out there, more complicated right now because of the economy, but still, dollar cost averaging is definitely the way for me personally that I see most of you guys making a good amount of money here. And hey, Sinfinim, I can't pronounce your name properly. I'm sorry about that. And thanks for subbing, my man. I really do appreciate it. Palantir took a big jump after hours on earnings. Yeah, I heard this was their first profitable earnings quarter. We were just talking about this actually the other day. So, can I go over here to extended hours? There you go. Yeah, look at that pop. Hitting those highs up here, actually. There we go. We were talking about how the earnings were probably actually not going to be too good the way we were looking at it. Remember, they missed, but at least last quarter they actually climbed up a little bit. This was this big old surprise for us. That they don't pay dividends. Yeah. I wonder if I can get news for them or not. I probably can't see the news right now. Can I do that? Yeah, there we go, news. And they have a good profit forecast too. Palantir shares rocketed up by more than 18% in after-hours trading Monday as the intelligence software company said it expects 2023 to be its first year of profitability. The optimistic profitability outlook was enough to outweigh any concerns that Palantir's sales forecast, as it expects its first quarter sales to be between $503 million and $507 million, compared to analyst forecasts for revenue of $520 million. So the revenue is not going to even be as good for this quarter, but the forecast is what really got everybody excited. For all of 2023, Palantir estimates revenue will be in a range of $2.18 billion to $2.23 billion, down from analyst forecasts of $2.29 billion in sales. A threshold has been crossed, and this is the start of our next chapter, said Palantir Chief Executive Alex Karp in a letter to company shareholders. We expect to generate a profit for the current fiscal year, our first profitable year in the history of our company. So that's really cool. I was actually, when we were talking about, I think I was complaining about this because I had been losing money. Remember, I had bought this a long time ago back over here, and it kind of went all the way back. I bought some over here, I bought some over here, I bought some down here, I bought some over here. And I guess because I bought more heavily, I would say down here and over here and way back on the day over here. It's up, but, really it's up because, sorry for the colors, it's up really because we had this big jump today. Mostly it's been like, type of trade. Today it made it a really nice trade, so I'm interested to see how much further it wants to go, because it's like kind of right up here at this point in time. Let me see, 4 hour, yeah, around $9 or so. It is interesting to see how much it's come, especially after it's had this kind of nice little breakout that we've seen, but it was a really chaotic breakout if you ask me. But again, hitting up that resistance level, got rejected from it, and now with the earnings report, it definitely jumped back up a little bit more here. People were not getting excited about the earnings report. There, you see the crash that went into earnings. So some shorts are definitely going to be panicking tomorrow, which made the drive this thing up even more. Let's see, there was another company I was thinking about as far as Palantir that I think that should be more profitable down the road. There we go. I managed to time Tesla reversal today, made 100% of my options, and proud of myself. So the RSI was low and it was starting to squeeze. Did I get lucky? You're not lucky if you were using technical analysis to make a good trade. As long as it worked out, you're doing perfectly fine, my man. I mean, luck is always part of it, I guess, but you made your own luck, I would say. It's not that it was like the market just like suddenly worked out for you. You started to see the signals and it worked out pretty well for you. Now, if you bought and you had no plan, no, that wouldn't be that would be pure luck, right? But you had a plan. It looks like you saw something happening with the RSI and you decided to make a trade off of it and it worked out in your favor. So that's not like, no, that's not the luck, like dumb luck. It's not like dumb luck, right? Lawsuits against Sam Bankman-Fried by the SEC now put on hold. Guess we know where SEC's loyalty is. Yeah, I have to wonder what's going on there. I think for now, what they're basically saying is, oh, hey boy, is this. They're basically saying they're going to hold off on doing any of those other investigations until after the court case is finished, between the criminal case is finished by the Department of Justice. I think, yeah, let me just give Loki a treat. He's over here begging, so he's not jumping up on the computer, so he knows something good is happening. But I would say they're probably just putting on hold because of the trial that's about to start. October, perhaps. I don't exactly know when the trial is due to start. But I don't know if it's common practice for them to stop investigations like that, or the SEC to stop investigations like that, until the criminal process is over. We'll have to see. But the way I'm looking at it from an objective view here, and this is not the type of objective view I think the SEC has, honestly, is down. If I'm the Department of Justice and I've done a lot of investigating, and I've been looking at Sam Bankman-Fried and I've been doing this and this and this, and I have a case against him, there's probably some people in the SEC that have to be cleaned out before the SEC can go after Sam Bankman-Fried. So I'm wondering if the FBI has dirt on the SEC and they're going to be bringing it out during the trial of what he was able to do and who he was able to manipulate in the SEC and things of that nature, the deals he made. And if they're able to talk about that, and I don't know if they'll be allowed to, I would say that the SEC, if the SEC is investigating, it's going to create a huge conflict of interest about what's going on. So from a certain respect, I understand it. Although me just being the cynic I am, I doubt they're doing it because of the honorable reason I just gave you. They could be just doing it to help Sam Bankman-Fried. But I do think there's something to be said that I believe the FBI probably has evidence that people in the SEC were doing favors for Sam Bankman-Fried. Maybe not even illegal favors, maybe just unethical favors. And that might come out during the case. And if it does come out during the case, you know, you might see more of a clusterfuck, if you will, as far as the news talking about it, people getting fired, CNBC, Fox Business, Bloomberg covering that type of stuff. But I bet there's a legitimate reason. The legitimate reason could just be a smokescreen for all I know, right? SEC is too busy going after stable coins to go after real crimes. Yeah, stable coins can definitely be a problem in this day and age, right? But you know, give it some time, everybody. Give it some time as far as Sam Bankman-Fried. This trial is going to be a very long and boring one. I'm hopeful that we're going to have an open hearing type one. So like you saw the Johnny Depp Amber Heard one where the cameras were allowed in the room. I'm hopeful that we can have that type of hearing, because if we do, I will be up every single day from the time the hearing starts to the hearing's end, watching this with you guys and just trying to figure out what's going on. I'll be here in the corner. I won't be talking about much except maybe a little, you know, like, oh, ooh, this is big, ooh, you know, a little bit of a reaction to it. But we're basically just going to be listening to everything that's going on. And maybe I'll ask a couple lawyer friends of mine to kind of like tell me what in their thoughts what's going on or something like that. All right. But I will be covering the case every single day if that's what it comes down to, if they have an open trial. If they don't have an open trial, I'll just give you guys news, like, you know, during these after-hour times when most of you guys are back home from work or just chilling and relaxing. That'd probably be a good way to look at it. But yeah, so that's the way I see it for now as far as Sam Bankman-Fried. A couple things here before I hop off, everybody. I'm going to be making a few more tutorials for you guys pretty soon. I have been able to get the Lux Algo Premium set up for my computer. I'm going to learn how to use it tonight and tomorrow. Then coming up, I'm going to start making a lot of videos for you guys. So if you guys want to learn how to use the Lux algorithm and things like that, I'm going to teach you guys how to do it properly. They have free and paid indicators. I'll be teaching you guys how to use both. Lux Algo is not paying me to do this. They are not paying me to do this. I just wanted to start using more indicators to help you guys out, because some of you guys have been talking to me about like, hey, how I hear about this script. You know, I don't even call them indicators. I call them scripts. Because if you guys go over to your indicators tab, they're right here under invite only scripts or my scripts or community scripts, basically, instead of like just, you know, my indicator type stuff. So I'm going to try to go down the list and explain as many of these as I can to you in a way that's informative and teaches you how to set up everything depending on how you plan to use them. So pretty soon I'm going to have the Smart Money Concepts one. So the one I'm using right now is a paid version, but they have this one right here, Smart Money Concepts Daily Chart. You know, I'll show you guys how to set this up and put everything in and explain what each thing actually does. I've already done it for you through a couple streams, but I'll make videos on it for you guys and stuff, so keep an eye out for those. If you guys haven't already, I'm putting out more content, so please try to watch it if you can, if you guys want to learn about that particular indicator. And then tomorrow morning, I don't know if I'm going to be live for the actual CPI data because I didn't really get much sleep last night, but more midday, I'll probably go live to talk about it, and we'll talk about the technical analysis, the repercussions of what's going to happen based off of whatever news we get as far as it's too cold, it's too hot, or it's just right. Because remember, as much as we're keeping an eye on CPI, we're keeping an eye on CPI because we're trying to figure out what Jerome Powell is going to do over the next few months here as far as raising rates, keeping rates high, cutting rates, all that type of stuff that everybody has swirling in their mind if they even like know anything about the markets. It's all about Jerome Powell, okay? So I'll see you guys a bit later. I will leave you guys with a nice little Loki jump up. Loki, come on. Come on. Come on. Yeah, come on. Here's a treat for you. Yeah, good boy. Good boy. Yeah. And look at the camera. Come on. Oh, that's a good boy. You're a good boy. Yeah, look at that. Oh, yeah. There you go. He's nice and delicate when he takes crackers or treats from me, okay? But okay, guys, overall, I'm still the same way. There's like we would have like a past 4 days, 5 days of doing nothing. I'm not too concerned. CPI data tomorrow will tell me if I need to be concerned. If you guys want to buy right now for a position, go for it. Have a stop loss, okay? If you guys want to short right now for a position, have a stop loss. Just know that you guys are taking a risk and that the CPI data is not going to go your way, And that's perfectly okay if you guys have a stop loss. If you guys don't have the ability to do a stop loss, just be watching what happens when the CPI data comes out. And I would say, unless you guys are trained properly to use leverage, be very careful if you guys are trying to use leverage during tomorrow's CPI report, okay? It can get nasty fast. 2x, 3x perhaps, that's fine. But if you start going to 5, 10, 15, 20x leverages, whoa, you're going to get burned out really fast if it does not go in your way, okay? So, I'll see you guys a little bit later. And guys, chill out, we'll be okay, okay? And yeah, Kevin, as far as Bankman-Fried, he is very well connected, and that's what's going to make this trial so interesting to watch.